I appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity to chat with everyone here on the phone and on the Zoom call. I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of industrial IoT and the concept of augmented reality in the umbrella term of IoT, because IoT encompasses obviously a lot when we talk about that, and how augmented reality really is important when we look at the picture of industrial IoT. I'll get started here. And augmented reality, it is here to stay. Quite honestly, it's been around for a very long time. Mentioned that I've been in the industry for 30 years, and for 24 of those years, it was pretty much strictly IT type of sales. And then over the last 6 years, I've been really focused on not only IT, but also IT-OT convergence and digital transformation. And part and parcel with that comes augmented reality type solutions. And I looked this up a while ago, but augmented reality really is not a new concept. It's been around for quite some time, and it was actually invented back in 1968 by a Harvard scientist named Ivan Sutherland. The reason that kind of strikes a chord with me is I was born in 1968, so I feel a little bit of a tie there with augmented reality and the fact that it was invented back in 1968. I draw an analogy to cloud computing. So cloud computing, relatively speaking, over the last say 15 years or so, has been part of our normal vernacular, and the concept seems like it was a new concept, but quite honestly, cloud computing, or maybe known as centralized computing, has been around for as long as mainframes have been around. So things evolve, and now we're in the world of what I would call mature augmented reality. Um, the augmented reality, we've really seen an explosion in apps and devices over the last, say, 5 years or so. Applications abound, from everything from traditional overlays to workflows to remote mentor solutions, you name it, ingesting and integrating with a variety of applications and workflows. Same thing with devices. We've had a tremendous number of devices come into the market. I think over the last year or so, there's been a little bit of a shake up in the confidence maybe of the viability of the future of AR, with what's gone on with HoloLens and HoloLens 3 not coming out, because Microsoft has been a market setter, and they were looked at with HoloLens as one of the real early innovators in AR as we know it today. And now Microsoft's going to be partnering with Samsung and taking a bit of a different tact. I really don't think that's an indicator of the strength of the market, though. HoloLens had some challenges as a product when it comes to industrial IoT. An application out in the field, it really was not a device that was optimal for field applications. We did an extensive testing with a construction company and tested HoloLens, and found a variety of issues, from glare when it's outside to being able to do hand gestures and such when you have gloves on. So it really did not lend itself well to true industrial augmented reality applications. So I would not take that as a leading indicator of where the AR market is going, because it really is a strong market. Uh, might be worth taking a step back though, and looking at the term AR, because more than anything, it really is an umbrella term of XR, or extended reality. And maybe that's the way I should have titled this presentation, because within that umbrella term of XR, it really you have multiple types of solutions taking advantage of different types of reality experiences. So you have augmented reality, where you have overlays and things that are augmenting the experience that you have with the real world. So think of things like maybe dashboards or performance data from some sort of an asset. Maybe it's a field service person who's out working in the field, and working on something, and they're seeing overlays as to pressure, temperature, what's going on with some sort of an asset, workflows. Going step by step through a process of maybe fixing something, inspections, being able to see an overlay of some information on top of maybe a engine inspections. So think of maybe a diesel engine inspector that's out there and historically has gone through their inspection with a clipboard and checking off different items. Now they can be looking at the engine and see visual overlays on that engine that give them a process to go through to see if things are missing or in the correct place. So to do that visual inspection in a much more efficient way, and then data comes the other way. You're capturing data in that augmented reality experience, and pulling it back into some application, or some utilization where you're tying into other data and getting business benefits out of that. You also have mixed reality. So you have augmented reality, you have mixed reality environments. So think of things like a digital twin. A great example of this was written up a few years ago. Equinor, large oil and gas company out of Norway, they built a multi-billion-dollar twin oil platform out in the North Sea, and in order to make that process happen more efficiently, they utilized digital twins and visualization of those digital twins with, at that time, HoloLens, and they were able to save tens of millions of dollars in that construction process, because in being able to visualize the digital twin and what the construction was supposed to look like and what assets were supposed to look like before they were actually delivered out into the platform or onto the platform, they were able to identify anomalies or identify areas where, say, one asset might not fit well with another asset, and they could take care of that issue on land prior to the equipment coming out, and hence save a lot of money of having to retrofit once it's out there on the oil platform, or having to fly the asset back out to the shore, or back to the shore to make the changes and then fly it back out. So that's the concept of mixed reality. And then virtual reality. And virtual reality really is a smaller piece of what I'll call the extended reality story when it comes to industrial IoT. Training is probably the biggest use case when it comes to virtual reality. So you're in a safe space and you're going through either a process or experiencing an environment, doing something in a immersive environment that allows for mistakes. So it keeps the person safe, but it is a training application. Really don't see any companies utilizing true virtual reality in an industrial space. It's just obviously being an immersive application. It does not lend its itself well to creating a safe environment. But definitely seeing AR accepted more and more, and it's kind of going downstream. So early on, the acceptance really was in enterprises. So the Fortune 500s, global companies, large enterprises. A lot of times you'll find they've started down this journey and have people, a person or two that is focused on augmented reality experiences or solutions within the company. I can't tell you the number of large companies we've talked to that already have someone who is driving that as a lead innovation person within the company, and working with them as a partner to deliver solutions to that company. But one of the things that's interesting to see is more seasoned employees really seeing the value of augmented reality in what they do. So had a situation where I was working with a gentleman who was getting close to retirement, and he's a field service manager at a major utility, and the excitement that he had in talking about and seeing the value of an augmented reality solution, essentially a workflow that we were planning on deploying, was truly inspiring. But it is definitely being more and more accepted. I guess as a final proof point, if we look going forward, what the CAGR is for augmented reality solutions in industry. I looked at market research, and they're predicting by the year 2026 it will be an $88 billion market with a CAGR of 31.5%. That's not insignificant. So it's a huge market. Companies are starting to adopt more and more augmented reality solutions, and it's really pushing down markets. So you're seeing smaller companies that are willing to make the investment because they see the value in this space. So a lot said there to say that augmented reality is here to stay. It's a critical piece of industrial IoT solutions. But how do we make these solutions successful in deployments? So it really is a process to make these augmented reality industrial IoT solutions a success. It's not about a single app. It's not about a single piece of hardware. It really is a process, and the first step in that process really is to be selling a solution. We're not selling a widget here. So you need to approach augmented reality solutions as a whole solution. It's not a single piece of software. So I've been in the industry a long time. A lot of the folks on the phone have been, or in the Zoom meeting, have been in the industry a long time. Selling solutions is not easy, right? It's something that is challenging, and but it's really the key first step in this process. A good example is what Intel does around market-ready solutions. Not directly related per se to augmented reality, but conceptually very similar. Their MRS program is about putting things together to create this package solution. So many times, and the way we approach it with our customers is not about the package. It's more about the customer's needs and tailoring things to them. But conceptually, it's very similar in the sense that selling a solution, putting all the parts and pieces together that are going to help make this successful for the customer. Because quite honestly, if we don't drive that level of integration and partnership with all the different providers of the parts and pieces, it's not going to be successful for the customer. Um, Second piece in this process is really finding a champion within the customer, and this can take multiple forms. We're working closely with a repair facility. I guess that's probably not a very good way to put it in the spirit of NDA. I can't really give the name, but it's a large repair group for repairing automobiles in the automotive industry, and in this situation, there was a lot of effort put into finding specific individuals that are very technology forward. They are folks within the organization that not aren't known normally to this their job function within the organization as a mechanic in this case aren't known to be very accepting of new technology, but these two individuals are very accepting of new technology, so they're the perfect fit. They're folks that will actually put the effort into to vet and test the technology. But sometimes the champion comes from a different area. Sometimes it comes as you're going down the road. Had a situation where we deployed a augmented reality solution, and someone was watching from the wings, and this is in the oil and gas sector. Someone was looking from the wings and watching what was going on, and saw this being a perfect fit for what they do in their job description, and actually came forward and asked to be part of this and to be able to utilize the wearable device, the software, to see how it would fit in their environment, and it turned out to be a perfect fit. So that internal champion sometimes is not identified up front. Sometimes it comes through this process, this proof of value that you're going through. And needless to say, you need to have a champion in the upper ranks within the organization, an executive sponsor, whether that's a director or a VP or someone in the C-suite even. You need to have that executive sponsor to make these solutions in this process successful. So you need to have that champion that's actually using the technology and delivering the technology and going to be an advocate for the technology. And then you need to have the executive sponsor. And if you don't have both of those, quite honestly, it's going to be a situation where it's going to be doomed for failure, because those are critical components to being able to drive this process of a successful implementation. And then the next step is really the focus or involving a system integrator in this process, or the importance of a system integrator in this process, and the importance of ROI. And what does that ROI look like? So the importance of the system integrator so many times is undervalued, especially in the OEM space, the partners out there that are manufacturing the software or manufacturing the hardware. Having that SI that puts all the parts and pieces together really is something that has been undervalued, but is absolutely critical. I was so at IoT World before COVID back in 2019, and an executive from Ford was up on stage, and she started off her presentation with that very statement, that you have to have a system integrator as a partner to deliver successful IoT solutions, especially in the realm of augmented reality. It is just absolutely critical to have that SI. I was at a conference here recently specific to augmented reality out in San Diego, AES, if for those that aren't familiar. And it was just very interesting to see that dynamic in a room where every person, or excuse me, every company that was had a booth and was displaying their wares, so to speak, at the conference was an OEM of a point product or a point software, and the only SI there showing people how everything is put together happened to be the company I'm part of, CBT, and so the value is just really underestimated, but is absolutely critical and very important, so definitely worth highlighting in this process of success, that having an SI in this process is really the only way to make sure or ensure a successful implementation. And then part and parcel of that is being able to show that ROI. So many times we get stuck on just the pure ROI of a solution, the dollar amount, and there is that part or that dynamic to showing an ROI in an augmented reality solution in the industrial IoT space, without a doubt. That if you make someone more efficient or a group of workers more efficient at something, you're doing something 25% more quickly, that there are dollar savings by being able to accomplish that task more quickly, whether it's delivered through a workflow or some sort of enhancement in the inspection process. But ROI can take other uh, uh, manifestations, if you like, within the analysis of the benefits, the business benefits of a solution, an augmented reality solution. So think of things like being able to make workers more safe because they are able to do some process utilizing augmented reality and wearable headsets, something like maybe a real wear device, and able to accomplish a task more safely because their hands are free and their heads up. They're able to be fully exposed to what's going on in the environment, and not constantly looking down at a clipboard or referencing maybe a handheld device or something for instructions or the process. So what does that lead to? That might lead to a reduction in workman's comp. So there's an ROI there. Or if you look at holistically in the organization, the insurance that the organization, that a customer pays, maybe their insurance will go down because they're making things more safe for the workers in that environment. Their deductible might drop also. So you see those benefits that aren't directly related to a cost savings in the immediate activity. Another way an ROI might manifest itself, and it's not necessarily in the direct dollar savings and efficiency, is I'd mentioned a diesel engine inspection situation or solution, and inspectors were more efficient in the process at finding issues with the engines before they were shipped out. They were more efficient in finding the anomalies, the problems. They weren't more efficient in time per se. So they may have saved a couple seconds or maybe a minute or so on inspection versus the old days of doing a clipboard and check marks. Okay, this is there, that's okay, this is there, that's okay. But they found more problems because of the augmented reality solution and being able to go through that step-by-step inspection process visually and verbally through going through that inspection workflow. But that saves money on the back end because there's less returns on the engine. There's less situations where something shows up defective at the assembly line where it's integrated with the rest of the truck. So there are dollar savings that aren't realized until further down that process or down that timeline of delivering the ultimate product, which is a functioning semi truck. And finally, I always like to throw this out there. There really is not that single silver bullet out there. There is I think every application, every piece of hardware likes to think of themselves as that silver bullet, but there really is not that silver bullet application or that silver bullet piece of hardware out there. It's a process, and you need to follow the process to deliver the value that the customer is expecting and you're proposing by being this partner with them. And to approach it simplistically, like there's this silver bullet. And quite honestly, I would love for there to be a silver bullet. My entire life in the IT industry, I've always looked for that silver bullet, but it really is a process, and we, in order to be successful, have to follow that process, and especially in the space of augmented reality solutions. Is such an important piece of this holistic umbrella area of industrial IoT solutions, because it really is the edge. It is where the workers are experiencing, interacting with equipment. They are delivering the value to the organization. And if we take advantage of that and help customers take advantage of the data that's out there, make those workers more efficient, safer, then we're driving much more business value to the customer, and becoming that trusted advisor, that partner with those customers. So, to wrap it up, it is an important solution set when it comes to delivering solutions to our partners in the industrial IoT space. And I think I'm supposed to leave a couple minutes here for questions, but really appreciate everyone giving me about 45 minutes of their time and talking about the importance of augmented reality, industrial IoT.